The Lost Heir. The wealth of Nnaemeka and Lebechi was well known across Enugu. Their empire stretched across real estate, trade, and businesses that flourished in the bustling capital city. But their greatest treasure was their only son, Somadina, a bright and ambitious young man whom they groomed to take over their fortune. However, fate had a different script. Somadina completed his high school in Nigeria and left for the Netherlands to pursue higher education. There, he met and fell in love with Angela, a Dutch woman with whom he built a family. They had twins, Daniel and Daniella, and for years, Nnaemeka and Lebechi visited every summer, watching their grandkids grow, carrying gifts of ofo seeds, akwukwo inri, and red oil, keeping their Igbo roots alive despite the distance. Yet, Angela had never set foot in Enugu, nor did she understand the deep connection between Somadina and his ancestors. But during their last visit, tragedy struck. Somadina fell gravely ill. What started as a minor discomfort spiraled into an ailment beyond saving. Nnaemeka and Lebechi watched helplessly as life slipped from their only child's body. The finest doctors in the Netherlands could not save him. Within weeks, he passed away, leaving his parents shattered and lost. The pain of his passing was unbearable, leaving them stranded in a foreign land, clinging to the last pieces of their legacy, his children. At his burial, Nnaemeka clutched his wife's hands tightly and whispered, voice trembling, "Lebechi, what will become of us?" "We still have Daniel and Daniella," she whispered back, though her heart was uncertain. But Angela, grieving in her own way, refused to let them take Daniel and Daniella to Enugu. "I will not let my children go to a place I have never been, to be raised in customs I do not know," she said sternly when Nnaemeka pleaded with her. "But my daughter, they are our blood," Lebechi sobbed, desperation coating her voice. Angela shook her head, her sorrow hardening into resolve. "Their home is here." Months turned to years. Nnaemeka and Lebechi aged rapidly, grief weighing down their souls. Stuck in the Netherlands, longing for their roots, they felt cursed, unable to reclaim their lineage. But fate, like the unpredictable tides, had other plans. One cold winter evening in the Netherlands, Nnaemeka had a dream. He was standing in a vast forest, the moon illuminating a single path. In the distance, a boy's voice called out, "Papa! Papa!" Startled, he turned, but the voice was not Somadina's. It was unfamiliar, yet strangely familiar. The vision faded, and Nnaemeka woke up in a cold sweat. "Lebechi! I saw a boy. He was calling me Papa." Lebechi, frail and tired, sighed. "It is your grief playing tricks on you." One evening, Nnaemeka received a message from an unknown number. The voice on the other end trembled with emotion. "Nnaemeka, it's Chinonso." The name struck him like a thunderbolt. Chinonso, the woman he had once loved in Owerri before he left for a better life in Enugu. The woman he had lost contact with. Chinonso. His voice wavered. "How, after all these years?" "I have something to tell you, something I should have told you long ago." She hesitated. "You have another son." Silence. Nnaemeka's heart pounded in his chest. "What did you just say?" "Our son, Obinna. He is alive, and he is yours." A mix of emotions engulfed him. Shock, disbelief, and a flicker of hope he thought had long been extinguished. "How could you keep this from me?" he whispered. "I searched for you," Chinonso admitted, her voice cracking. "I waited. I had no way to find you." Tears streamed down Nnaemeka's wrinkled face. A son, a living heir. Could fate truly be smiling upon him again? Lebechi, who had been listening, clutched her chest. "Chukwu Ekwela, my husband, do you hear this? Another son? Our lineage will not end. Back in the Netherlands, Lebechi struggled with the news. You want me to accept a child I never knew? She asked, her voice laced with pain. Nnaemeka took her hands. Somadina is gone. Angela will never let our grandchildren know our ways. But Obinna, he is ours. He carries our blood. Nnaemeka returned to Nigeria alone. Lebechi, too weak to travel, begged him, find out the truth, but do not forget our grandchildren. Arriving in Owerri, he met Chinonso after decades. Time had aged her, but her eyes still carried the fire of the woman he once loved. Beside her stood a young man, tall, strong, with striking resemblance to... Their journey back to Enugu was swift. The moment Nnaemeka set foot on his homeland, the air felt different, familiar yet foreign after so many years. Standing at the gates of an old compound in Owerri, he saw a young man, tall, broad-shouldered, and eerily resembling Somadina, Obinna. The young man met his gaze with hesitant curiosity. Are you my father? Nnaemeka could not hold back his tears as he stepped forward. Yes, my son, I am. Obinna's expression softened. For years, he had wondered about the man whose absence was a mystery in his life. And now, here he was, a father he never knew, offering him a place in a legacy he never imagined. Months passed, and with time, Lebechi's heart softened. She traveled back home, meeting Chibuike. The boy embraced her, calling her Nne. Tears flowed. Lebechi embraced Obinna, as though she were grasping onto time itself. You are home now, my son. You are our future. The once fading legacy of Nnaemeka and Lebechi had been rekindled. Though grief still lingered, hope had been restored. A lost son had been found, and their lineage, once thought broken, would live on. The legacy of Nnaemeka. The sun was setting over the bustling streets of Enugu as Nnaemeka sat by the window of his grand estate, staring blankly at the horizon. His wife, Lebechi, sat beside him, her once radiant face now shadowed with grief. Their son, Somadina, whom they had poured all their hopes into, was gone. They had traveled every summer to visit him in the Netherlands, watching him build a life with Angela and their beautiful twins, Daniel and Daniella. But last summer, everything changed. Soma had fallen sick, mysteriously, suddenly. The doctors fought to save him, but in the end, death stole him away, leaving them with a grief they could neither understand nor escape. Angela, their son's wife, had never set foot in Enugu, nor had she allowed her children to visit. Now, she was determined to keep their grandkids away from them. Every call was met with cold indifference. Mama, I don't think it's a good time for Daniel and Daniella to travel, Angela had said the last time Lebechi called, her voice clipped and firm. But they are all we have left, Lebechi pleaded, her voice breaking. I understand, but they have their lives here, Angela said before hanging up. The pain was unbearable. Nnaemeka turned to her, his face wet with tears. Yes, my love, we have another son. Hope flickered in their hearts for the first time in years. Obinna, a spitting image of Nnaemeka in his youth. The resemblance was undeniable. For a moment there was silence. Then Obinna spoke. Are you really my father? His voice was steady, yet filled with unspoken emotion. Nnaemeka swallowed hard. Yes, my son, and I am so sorry for all the years I lost. Obinna studied him, then turned to his mother. You always told me my father was a good man. I never imagined this moment. Tears streamed down Chinonso's face. I never wanted you to hate him. He didn't know, she whispered. Lebechi stepped forward, her voice gentle. We have lost so much, my son. But fate has given us another chance. Will you? Will you let us be part of your life? Obinna exhaled, his expression softening. I have always wondered who my father was. Now that I know, I won't turn away. Relief washed over them. They had found a new beginning. As they left the restaurant that evening, Nnaemeka held Lebechi's hand tightly. The pain of losing Somadina would never fade, but in Obinna, they had found redemption, hope, and a future. The legacy of their family would live on.